I don't hate this, and I should because it's awful, but I like it. If you have an idea and you're excited to tell people about it, but every time you try and tell people about it, it kind of comes out garbled, try Figma Make. It's pretty impressive, it's incredibly easy to use, and I think it's going to solve a lot of problems for founders. Hi, I'm Nicole, and I put out content for early stage founders or people who are thinking about starting a business, especially one that's powered by tech. So today's question is actually two questions, but they're solved by the same thing, so we're going to go with them together. The first one is, people keep saying just validate it first, but how? A Google form doesn't capture the thing I'm imagining. It's supposed to feel like a real supporting, caring app, not another survey. The second one is that I want people to understand, but I'm inexperienced in how to present such an idea. My demo feels like a PDF in app form. This is super common, especially if you're a founder who's sort of new to the software world. So you have a really strong idea and you're an expert in the problem that you're trying to solve, but maybe you're not so familiar with tech and the solution that you want is going to be something tech-based. So the tool I wanted to cover today is Figma Make. Figma has jumped on board the AI trend and they've released a conversational AI that then goes on to actually produce a prototype of the product you're trying to create. So you don't have to be great at design, you just have to explain to the chatbot what you want, refine it, and then you have something to put in front of people. So let's talk about who is the right fit for using this tool. When you're in a startup, you've got a bunch of different stages. You get your first stage where you understand your customers, where you really start to empathize with what they need and define what the solution might look like. You then move into exploring ideas where you're ideating and you're prototyping and experimenting. And then you move into the materialize stage where you're testing the true solution and you're looking to implement something that then becomes your MVP. Figma Make works really well in steps 3, 4, and 5. Figma can produce a prototype or a visual representation of your idea that is great for customer validation, it's great for testing your problem solution fit, and is a proof of concept. What it can't test is things like technical feasibility, scalability. Don't use for things like if you're testing if data can sync, or if you're trying to create an actual chatbot. It doesn't do real integrations, it doesn't do complex logic very well. Figma cannot get you to an actual MVP, but what it can do is be the groundwork for when you do build your MVP. It might be enough to put it up on a website and get pre-sales. Figma can get you that far, so let's give it a go. I want to do something that has that emotional level. So I brainstormed with ChatGPT and it came up with breakup app, which I find hilarious. So I'm going to go with that. Now, if you have a list of 3 or 5 things that you think are going to be in the final product, you should only be testing one of them at a time. You pick the thing that you think is going to make your product different to everyone else's. So for a breakup app, I'm going to choose a don't text your ex feature because that sounds funny. All right, so this is the Figma homepage. We're going to try the free plan. So I'm going to log in. All right, we are in. Now, this is just the website. There is a desktop version, but don't even stress about that unless you're going to use it every day. You can see all their default things. The thing we want to start off with is up here, Figma Make. What do I want to make today? What I'm actually going to do is ChatGPT a little bit. All right, so I'm just telling it what I want. One don't text your ex feature, lots of bright colors, maybe a bit of an edgy vibe. And here we go. It spat out a full prompt for me. So let's drop that straight into Figma. So what it's doing now is it's processing my prompt and it's starting to put together a plan for how it's going to build the thing. You'll actually notice down on the side it's showing code blocks. Figma already has a feature where if it's showing you a visual thing, it used to be design only, but now it actually does the code behind it. Now, whether or not that is good code is a different question. I am happy to do a video where I take something from Figma and see how hard it would be to turn that into a real product. It will get technical, but I am there for that if you are. So drop it in the comments below if you'd like to see what that looks like. Now back to Figma, it is still processing our prompt. I'm not going to show you the whole video because it's taken about 3.5 minutes, but here is the big reveal. My goodness, that is brightly coloured. Wow. I don't even know where to start with this. It's definitely embraced the neon and bright colours. Yeah. I Okay. Okay, let's see what it does. This is amazing. It's really terrible, but like in a good way. And look, in fairness, the brief I gave it was pretty terrible. I don't hate this, and I should because it's awful, but I like it. Alright, so let's quickly run through the features. So up on the screen we've got the timer feature. Let's go back to the menu. Next is the block feature, and that's good. It's given some customization options, which is quite nice. Let's go back, and then, okay, so there's a write to your future self feature. My goodness, there is more colours on this page. Look, if you don't want it to look like this, don't tell it to use neon bright colours and be edgy. I have done it before with a calm palette. I'll show a little flick up on the screen and it looked quite lovely and peaceful and sensible. This is awful and I love it. Okay, so it's now just flicking up little quotes on why I shouldn't text this person. That's amazing. I'm really curious. The love heart doesn't do anything. It's just there to be, I don't know, an epilepsy risk. Huh. My goodness, the colours on this. I've picked a really neurotic example. I'm so sorry. But look, it's pretty spot on. Like, it is exactly what I asked it to do. If this was my brand design, I could put this in front of potential people to see if this is something they'd want. So that was its first attempt, which to be honest is pretty cool. But let's see what happens when we edit it. The colours are too overwhelming and I don't like the full width layout. We're back. Cool. That's not terrible. Okay, this is showing my age, but do you remember when you were doing a report in Microsoft Word with images and you moved the image and everything went everywhere and it was a whole meme? AI in 2025 is like trying to move an image in Microsoft Word and having every other component on the page go into a weird place. That's what you're dealing with. Have fun. That said, it seems to have done alright. I'm not seeing anything new pop up. I actually thought this would be a longer video, but we seem to have landed on exactly what I asked it to do pretty quickly. You could get a lot of feedback on something like this. Now let's work out how we could share this with potential customers. So up here is the little triangle that shows us the prototype without the chat. So you can then take that URL and share it, or you can put it in a device and show it to someone. I would suggest, wherever possible, try and do it in person. If they're texting you back responses, they're thinking about it beforehand, and you also won't see the order in which they click on things because there's no analytics attached to this as far as I know. Alright, I found something else to change. So I realized that on this timer, I don't actually have any way to tell it that I sent a text message or whatever I did. So I'm going to ask for one more change. Alrighty, so that prompt has finished now, and let's see what happens. Now we have an I text him button. Oh, that's very sweet. There we go. That was really easy to add. When I originally filmed this video, I assumed it would take me like an hour or two to build the thing. Turns out it didn't. Now I have built versions of this with lots of features, and when you start to do lots of features, you do start to hit the end of your credits and there's still things to change. So I'm going to try and do that now and ask it to build a login and profile feature so that we can see where exactly that free plan cuts off. So basically from here on out, don't do what I'm doing. We're just going to see how it goes. So that actually worked out. It has now finished adding the login details, and it's also just told me that I'm out of free AI credits. So realistically speaking, I couldn't spend an hour on this if I wanted to, unless I wanted to pay money, but I don't think I should. This is perfect because I can come in the morning, I can mock up some version of something I want to test, I can do it quickly, and then I can spend the rest of that day to actually go out and talk to people, put it in front of people, see what they say, and then come up with a list. So when I come back tomorrow, the changes they make are based on customer feedback. But let's have a look at what it came up with. Cool. I mean, I'm happily married, so I don't have anyone I'm not texting. Oh, actually, you know what? I'm not texting carbs. When did the breakup happen? Right after I stopped breastfeeding and realised that I can't eat that much food anymore. I'm curious to see what it would actually do with the date. Interesting. It's now added in streaks and stuff. So I didn't ask it to do that. It got creative and it decided that if there's a profile, you need to gamify it. So it's added streaks. That's quite interesting because if I was to hand this to a developer, all of these features, while they seem quite fun and simple, it's still work that someone has to build, and it's still money and it's still time. I wonder if the MVP of this product actually needed things like streaks. or whether that's more of like a day 2 feature enhancement, or even entirely unnecessary. So unleashing the AI has been good, but it's also adding things that I didn't ask it to and I may or may not want. But really good to find out. That is the full extent of Figma Make. This app is simultaneously the ugliest thing and the most amazing thing I've ever designed. I don't know if designed is the right word, but I kind of love how bad it is. If you love my design, if you hate the design, please comment below. I'm really curious whether it's just me who likes it or whether it's just so bad that it's pretty good. Thank you so much for watching today. As you can see, Figma is amazingly fast and quite a lot of fun in terms of getting ideas out of your head and onto paper. If you're getting any value out of this video today, please take a moment to like and subscribe. This is a new channel. I really enjoy making this content, but I want it to be valuable to you. And the way that I know it is whether people are actually watching it, whether they're liking it, whether they're commenting. So any support you can give me is greatly appreciated. If you have a question for me, put a comment below. I'd love to hear from you. I will talk to anyone, especially new founders. So please don't be afraid. There is no question too dumb. Worst case scenario, we will be dumb together.